You can't just sign on when you want, Travis.
Seriously,
Yeah,
what
I
the hell?
can.
What do you think you're the host or something?
I pride myself on being the host. No,
Hey,
it's a we. It's not a me. It's a we.
you,
If
you
you guys wanted to vote in a new host, then you just have to figure out all the shit that I have to do to get it up, and I'd be fine with that. Hey, I've played the co-host role before.
Yeah, well,
It's a lot easier than being the host.
I was gonna say I like this a lot better because I can just say, "Is there a show or not?"
Just pop in, yeah, and then pop out. That's great.
Yep, 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 yep.
All right. So we're already rolling. I'll edit this out later unless somebody says something funny.
No, we talked for a second, but that was it.
Okay. Well, 6:30.
Hmm.
The sun is shining. Birds are chirping. Crackheads are smoking.
Good morning to you. The birds
I don't even know what
are
time it is.
chirping.
Oh, it's 6:30. Good
Six
job.
thirty. Oh yeah, right on time. I see you, boy.
Well done.
Should we go Facebook Live, even though they're only gonna be able
Oh
to hear
shit.
my side?
You know what? Since we're pushed for time, I'm not going to even do the live links. I'll do them tomorrow.
I
Tomorrow should be fun. Are you going to be on tomorrow, Kenny?
Yeah, I should be home. I don't have anything lined up, so.
Oh, you got to be on when Tim's on. You got it. It's just going to be, and you got to be for Sean's epic rant on Hillary.
Yeah. It's
But we could
yeah,
talk some Hillary today, but I want to save a lot of Hillary for tomorrow. But whatever happens, happens. It doesn't matter to me.
right. Oh yeah,
All right.
I'm with it.
It might be earlier tomorrow too.
Okay.
All right. A moment of silence for the intro.
Hmm.
Is that your TV, Kenny?
It's not my TV. It's just people. Can you shut that? Can you shut the door, please?
No, Ender, do you have a TV on?
I do not.
Okay, it's a little ambience. It's just for the intro. I don't. It's bad for the intro, I think.
Okay, go ahead. I think that should be better. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another. There was a scuffle. All right, let's try it again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mercury's Cast. I am your sexually explorative interplanetary host, Travis Montgomery, and today I always say that because it's always special, right? Ender Ho will be
What
joining
up?
us. What up? Say what's up to the people.
How's it going? It's good to be here.
Thank you. And hopefully he'll be joining us for future episodes. Today is episode 15. Kind of cool to see that number. I don't even know why numbers are cool, but it just is a representation of keeping it moving, you know?
Okay.
It's been almost 2 weeks since the last one, but I've got some rapid fire podcasts. We're going to do one tomorrow. I might even do another UFC podcast tomorrow that will drop on Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, some big news just made with that today.
Yeah, John Jones is out. I got an epic rant about that, but probably will save that. So we have our first sponsor for the podcast, although they didn't give me a reading. It's my wife's new business adventure, and how cheesy is that? But that's what we're going to run with. As soon as she gives me a write-up, I will properly represent what she's trying to put out there, and she's doing a great job moving forward, making some leaps and bounds, and I'm actually pretty proud of her. So, Kenny, how are you doing?
I'm living. I'm alive. So
Did you miss us?
Did you miss the
Yes.
planet of Mercury?
Yes, it's been a while. I was missing the heat. Not really. Um, it it's yeah. I was anxious to get on this week. I was like, there's so much material.
Yeah, I want to dive. I want to dive all up in that. For me, I've been
Yeah, you
feeling the
do.
heat. Oh, balls deep. uh, yeah, for me, I have been feeling the heat. Last week was, every day was just about 105, if not more, in Bakersfield.
Oh,
I had to actually dig one day, and that was after a full day's worth of work in an unair conditioned building. Well, I was doing some demo work, and then my new guy Tony, shout out to Tony, thank you for we might even listen to this one together. I've been kind of his right hand man for a lot of stuff. We were working in a house that actually had some fire damage from a house that was right next to it that had almost completely burned down. It's been red tagged, condemned. No one's going to live there. They're going to have to bulldoze that shit. But the house that we're working on, we demoed it, and then we went to go do some time sensitive stuff, which involved digging. And I kind of fell out after an hour. It's just that I just not acclimated to that kind of heat. Working in that
oh,
kind of heat yet.
Yeah, I
that sounds gross.
it's been over 110 out here all week, and I there's construction going on some roads right around the corner from my house, and I'm just like, how the hell are you guys out here doing this work? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
So
It,
shout out to the road workers out there, keeping our roads nice and smooth.
it's a tough gig. It's a tough gig for anyone that has to work in this heat. And it's not only like Las Vegas and Bakersfield. I think a lot of the countries right now are experiencing hotter than normal temperatures, like
Like
across the board.
like global warming. Is that what you're
Global warming.
Well, I got Al Gore coming on next week, so we can talk about that then.
Yeah.
No, but well, it's called climate change. So
No, for sure.
step your game up, Kenny.
My bad. We're on to the next what's it called? Poll tested term.
Correct.
It's a more accurate term.
Yeah, I guess.
So, Ender,
Yes.
how are you feeling today?
Pretty good. I just haven't been doing much. I left my job last week. Last Thursday was my last day, so feeling great.
Was that a planned leaving?
It was. I mean, I only gave them like a week's notice, but it was planned. I'd been planning it for a few weeks,
Right on.
so it was good.
Well,
So wait, hold on. Let's go. If you don't mind, can you talk about that a little bit or no?
Yeah.
So when
I-
you had when I just have one question. When
All
you
right.
had a couple of weeks, like, how did you like still get up and go to work knowing that you're like, I'm quitting? Like,
So,
was there any point where you're just like, God damn it, I just want to leave now?
the entire time. Some background. I worked as a deputy campaign manager for a guy running for Congress, and so my plan was to leave after the primary election, whether we made it through or not, and we did. So the campaign is still going, but it was a close election. So we were down election night by a few hundred votes, like 500 votes, and it took a full week and a half to take the lead. And when we finally got the lead, with my campaign manager gave his notice, and I was like, all right, I can't leave at the exact same time. So I waited for him to go, and then I gave my notice. I was gonna give him a full 2 weeks, but by then it was like the end of the month. So my boss was just like, how about just make the 30th your last day? And I'm like, okay, and it worked out really well.
No, no.
so you were working on his Did you mention his name? I'm sorry, I tuned out for a minute.
His name is Bao Nguyen. He's the current mayor of Garden Grove here in Southern California, and
Did he win?
he's going on to the general election. So, yeah, he placed second in the primary, which puts him against another guy in the general election.
Oh wow.
Cool. Did he have to pay off any FBI high-ranking officials to get into his position?
No, not that I'm aware of. No.
Nice. So let's dive a little bit into his politics and how you align with them. Garden Grove is very heavily Vietnamese, and I guess we should point out to the listeners who can't see you that you are Vietnamese yourself, correct?
I am full. Even if they could see
Oh.
me, I kind of look Filipino, but I'm definitely 100% Vietnamese.
I would guess Filipino because me and Kenny both grew up in Cerritos, and we get well versed into being able to point out different Asian ethnicities. Am I right, Kenny?
Yeah, I would have.
Don't you get mad when people just call them? Oh, they're just a Chinese person. You're like, what? That person's not Chinese. Like, that is full Korean, and if you can't tell by looking at him, then you are just an idiot or ignorant.
Yep. No, I agree with you. It's
Underexposed.
but
Well, that's the beautiful thing about growing up in Cerritos is that you can identify these things.
a true melting pot. A true melting pot.
That's right.
Yes, correct. So, I'm sorry, what was his name?
Bao Win.
Bao Wen.
And he won so far. So he's going to the general election against who? Who's he going against?
He's going against Lou Correa, and so he's running to represent California's 46th district, which is Loretta Sanchez's old seat, and she vacated it to run for Senate.
Oh, Loretta Sanchez. I wish Sean was here right now. Sean would go off on her. That's one of his favorite freaking rant people.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well,
but he's not.
We'll have to hash that up if you guys ever get on together. Andrew, so how, on the political scale, left to right, how far left is this guy?
He's pretty far left. He's the first openly gay mayor of Garden Grove.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
He was the only, I think he may be the only candidate in Orange County to have endorsed Bernie Sanders, and he did so pretty early on.
Wow.
So I would say pretty far left.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, right on. It's kind of fitting, a Vietnamese person being pretty far left. And kind of a joke. I mean, far left, communist, a socialist, right?
Yeah, you could say he's a social democrat. You know,
Okay.
the Vietnamese people are actually, the Vietnamese community, the vocal ones at least, tend to veer right, actually. They're fairly conservative.
Yeah, they're protective of their money.
Yeah.
Which I mean.
So they're kind of Jewish too, then, in that sense.
Well, who does? Well, the thing is who doesn't want to be? Who doesn't want to be protective of their money? It's just
I would
you
love
gotta
to
get
be
shit
that.
paid for though. Like
I would love that luxury. I just was not born with those genetics.
Yeah.
I'm an American. You know, it's like people come here from other countries that have it bad, and they get here and they get some money. They're like, hey, shit, I better hold on to this, you know.
Yeah.
And me, I'm like, let's go to
Vegas.
Yeah, or let's go to Vegas. Shit.
I heard there's a big fight this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So what were your duties working under this man? I had a pen. I could write his name down.
Bao Wen.
Bao Wen. I was his deputy campaign manager, meaning.
Oh wow.
Meaning I wore many hats. My primary responsibilities were overseeing the interns, some volunteers, and just being the campaign manager's right-hand man, just taking whatever duties I could.
So how scripted was this guy? Was he an off-the-cuff just speaker, going up with talking points and just bow?
Was he a Hillary or was he a Trump?
Yes, thank you, Travis.
He was. He wasn't so scripted. Like we always had points prepared for him, but he was never. And sometimes he would read off of what we wrote for him, but it's all from him.
It
I
sounds like
will
Bernie.
say I didn't necessarily leave on the best terms, but I would still vote for him. He really does believe the stuff that he says. Like he really is all about the
Gotcha.
issues that he says he believes in.
Well, that's big. That's pretty big to say.
So
Considering you chose the left to leave, and you'd still.
yeah, I'd definitely still vote for him.
Well, that's cool. As far as leaving on not the greatest terms, I don't know if we want to dive all the way into
Nah,
that.
let's
But
not.
okay. So one of the main reasons that caught your attention to actually come on the Mercury's Cast, go to Facebook Mercury's Cast, Twitter Mercury's Cast, and Instagram Mercury's Cast for all your Mercury's Cast needs. We post a lot of articles and pictures and memes. So what caught your attention was when I posted free open invitation to anyone who wants to come on and talk about the Orlando shootings. So just tell me what was your feeling like the day that Sunday that you woke up and you saw all this crap had happened?
Oh man, my heart sank, and it was just. I feel like there's been so many shootings since then, and so many tragedies since then. It's hard to keep straight, but
Let's go back to that day.
yeah, I remember where I was. Like I was at church when I logged on to Facebook and saw it. Yeah, I was on Facebook at church, but that's another story.
I didn't want to point that out, but okay. This is your story. Go on.
And my heart just sank. Like my first reaction was, there's no way that this is actually happening. Gun control, the LGBTQ rights, like discrimination, and all that just came to my mind, and I don't even know where to start. Like the gun control thing is a big thing to me. I'm not foolish enough to say that better gun control laws would stop everything, but I do think it's to start. If after I heard someone say like, oh well, after 9/11, they made it harder for people to fly. There's no fly lists, and TSA got stricter, and I just don't see why we don't do that for purchasing guns. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, it goes even deeper than that. I think personally, you can like you can have the the most hardened gun advocate that follows all the rules and whatnot, and get a gun and still go off the deep end. It just takes one bad decision. So
Right.
gun control isn't gonna necessarily stop every mass shooting. It's just gonna
Absolutely
reduce
not.
them. It's just gonna
Yeah.
reduce them. And that's like the hardest part that I don't necessarily understand about it, and why people would fight it. Yeah, go ahead and get your gun. Just go through a little bit more extensive process. The process to get your driver's license is so much harder than to get a gun.
Yeah.
And that part just doesn't make sense to me.
I feel that there's a problem, and in my head I argue for every side, and a lot of the times I'm conflicted. I don't know what the right answer is, but yes, I believe that it shouldn't be so easy to get a gun. But on the other hand, you can't just put people on a list and say they can't get a gun, because who knows if the FBI or whoever is putting people on these lists and what reasons they have to put them on may not be ethical. So you can for instance, what if they just say, well, Travis has been saying a lot of this stuff about America. He shouldn't he shouldn't be able to own a gun. It's
I see that argument. The only like the same thing could be said about the don't fly list. Like there's people that end up on that wrong all the time.
yeah.
And so like well, but there's still the no fly list. They don't just say, oh well, that no fly list is useless.
It's actually it has the no fly list has worked in stopping since 9/11 a lot of terrorist attacks.
Well, no, I'm not saying that that the no fly list hasn't helped, but I'm sure just like the no fly list would help, just like an more extensive background check or mental health check or a longer waiting period would help before you purchasing a gun. The one thing I don't understand about the gun thing is how did the dude have to wait 3 days to purchase a handgun, but was able to walk right out of the store that day with the with the semi-automatic?
That amount, and not only that, be denied full body armor, and then just be like, okay, well you can have everything else, but you can't have the full body Teflon armor. Like here, like
oh, so he bought the bullets and everything from the same place?
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that part.
Dang.
I didn't know that part. I knew the guy denied him body armor, but I didn't know he was trying to buy the bullets, or he bought the bullets and everything else.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that's a little. Well, that's American way. Make that money.
Right. So we need to. I mean, first off, there's already too many guns in America to say that, okay, we're just going to get rid of guns in America because there's like more guns than there is human beings in America. So even if they outlaw guns, what is that going to do for all the guns that are on the street? They're just going to be like, hey, anyone that has a gun, report to your local police station and turn your gun in, or else you will be prosecuted. Like,
yeah.
and
Well.
and the criminal laws obviously don't sway anyone that's mentally ill from committing these kind of acts. And anyone that's mentally ill, whether they have a gun, they have a car, they have a knife, they have a AR-15, they're going to do something heinous. And we can't stop that. And it's the sheer number of people in America. We have 300 million people. Neither anyone that's listening or me or you or anyone else could wrap our number around that many people. It would be, it's the comparison is just not in our freaking brain to be able to understand how many people that is. So it's a game of numbers. Like I like saying, like you like saying, let's take it one step further. It's a game of numbers, and there's going to be that many, that many bad apples in a bunch when you have 300 million people.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that's true. That's the same argument that's used by people who support the refugees coming to America, but like
Or don't support them.
or or don't support them, I guess. But
I don't know. I watched some shit on Vice, and it's like I'm so torn over that. Ender, why don't you give us some insight onto what you think the refugees, or I mean, maybe refugees is not the right title. They're migrants. They're migrating, and not all the time from a war-torn place. They're just trying to look, even if it's from Syria, even though Syria's been in a civil war for years now. What's your take on it? Do we let them all in, or do we sift them? Do we give them background checks, or what do you think?
I mean, my philosophy is I do think the walls need to be higher, but and I'm not talking about a literal Trump-esque wall.
but please clarify, please.
But the gates need to be wider. Like the process of getting into America needs to be a lot easier than what it is now. And it should be so that people can't and wouldn't want to try to come in illegally, that they would want to come in legally. And that process has to be easier. I mean, we're a country full of immigrants. You know, we are immigrants. Our founding fathers were immigrants. I'm a first generation Vietnamese. Like my parents migrated here. And
So you think the 18 to 24-month process right now is too long to vet? Okay, I guess I don't know. I don't know if to vet every immigrant it take that long, or if it's just the ones from the Middle East right now. So I don't. I can't really. I guess when I ask the question, I don't know what I want you to answer, but but I'm just gonna pose it, and if anyone has any insight on it, like, do you think that it needs to be longer than 18 to 20, or you think it needs to be shorter than 18 to 24 months that it is currently right now?
yeah, I mean, I've just met so many people that are just waiting for their families. I feel like our immigration laws are such a way that families are being torn apart, and I feel like that's the wrong direction for us to be heading.
I agree. Well, what happens is like, well, I just want to play a little devil's advocate, I guess here. What happens if something does go down and it happens at the hands of one of these immigrants that slip through vetting? Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel that the same way that you do. Like a lot of people are getting blamed for stuff that they had no control over or whatnot. But what happens? Because I find myself struggling with that argument. What happens if something does go down? Like, ouch.
Sure, they're going to be bad people that come in, but then there are already bad people that are here. You know, there are middle to upper class white people that are committing horrendous crimes. We kick out all upper middle class white people. I mean, it's called the government, right?
Well, I mean, that does kind of, I don't know, Travis, bring us into more current news.
As far as
The shooting with the police, because we haven't brought that up, and I feel like if we're gonna do more of a current, like that's something that's gotta.
It's like the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
it doesn't have anything to do with well, the rapists are coming from somewhere.
No, true, but it does have kind of sucky tinge to it, because if we're talking about Second Amendment rights, like the second guy, Philandro Castile or whatever I believe his name was,
Yeah.
he was reaching for his ID, and yes, he even let the police officer know that he had a firearm, and he was reaching for his ID, and the police shot him. Like, it's
That is totally inexcusable, and that cop should be charged for murder in my eyes.
no, yeah. I mean, I didn't expect you to to defend him, but
No,
like,
that one is I mean,
but do you see that, like, that's the Second Amendment right that like sucks. That, like, that's what I think I was trying to argue a couple of weeks ago when it was just me and you, that like the Second Amendment right doesn't mean the same thing for everybody. Like, someone carrying that, he didn't look like a, like, I mean, from the photos I've seen of him, he doesn't look like a suspicious guy. He was just a normal
well,
black dude that.
Well, he was black.
Yeah, but
yeah, well, that's
it
suspicious.
shouldn't make him suspicious.
Right?
Well, exactly, right? Like,
Oh,
But
come
that's
on.
what happens.
Are we
So, I
talking
mean,
reality here, or are we talking fiction?
well, that's what I'm saying in talking about the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment wasn't meant for everybody. The Second Amendment was written by white guys in a room, like, for themselves. It wasn't written with the idea that, well, one day a minority that we're gonna pick on is gonna also be able to possess these weapons and inadvertently cause issues.
the Second Amendment was also written before, like, automatic weapons and semi-automatic weapons.
Right. It took like 2 minutes to load a musket.
But
That's right.
the concept remains the same: is that the government didn't have those weapons either. And the concept is that we should be able to battle tyranny when faced with it.
But how are you gonna do that if the police shoot you before you can even get a chance to shoot them? Like he didn't even pull his gun out and you got shot.
Well,
I know.
that's
I know.
that's
Again. I know.
totally
Again. I'm not
separate
asking you.
than trying
I'm
to
not asking.
overthrow a tyrannical government. What we're witnessing now is a clear, gross abuse of power. Um, I I would like to know who these individuals are, and I would like to think that under the same circumstances, I would not do the same thing. I almost for sure say that I wouldn't. And like, how are these people getting on the police force? Are they not doing their mental background checks just like people that are supposed to buy a gun legally? They go through background checks. Are they not doing their due diligence to make sure that a fucking nut job is not getting on a police force who is likely to kill somebody over nothing?
No,
I'm,
I agree. Well
it,
said.
it, it's really super sad that this is the structure of our country right now, that this is accepted and it's okay. It's not okay for me. And even if there's a struggle and somebody has a weapon, the first response should not be to kill somebody. There should be other. You need to be smarter than that. You need to be more physically able to handle a situation. You need to be mentally and emotionally stronger than to just take out your gun and shoot someone. And the counter argument to that is, well, being a cop is a tough job, and who would want to do that? Who would want to be lied to every day? Who would want to deal with society's rejects on a day-to-day basis, on a hour-to-hour basis? You know, it's a tough situation, but I side on more on the side of citizens that if you are a person who wants to become a cop, you need to know that in today's society, you can't just shoot people because you feel threatened. That's part of your job. I deal with electricity. When I go on a live panel, I know there's a chance I'm going to get shocked. There's a chance I'm going to be killed because if I make a mistake and I grab onto or I touch a live part of a big circuit gear. Like I deal with a lot of shit. If I touch that and I touch a metal, boom, that's it. I'm gone. So in relation to being a cop, that's part of your job. There's a danger there. You have to know how to diffuse a situation, be cautious, be respectful for your environment. And I mean, I can't just shoot my fucking electrical box and my job's done for the day. You know, it's fucked up, man.
Yeah, no, the cop, even in the case where I was talking about, um, he shot, and there was a little girl in the back seat.
Yeah.
Like there was a little kid in the car, and God forbid the bullet go through the guy. Like, man,
Yeah, that guy should be brought up on murder charges.
did you hear how frantic he was after he like shot him? It was like,
Well,
man, like he knew instantly, like, oh shit, like he just, wow. Uh, it's unfortunate.
Ender, I saw you post some stuff on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
I think it was yesterday. It had an angry red face on it. What was your
Yeah.
thoughts? What were you talking about the Alton Sterling?
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
I was
but
talking about
here's your
Sterling.
quote, and let me just quote you. I'm not trying to be facetious. Yes, he had a record. Yes, he was a felon. Yes, as a felon, he shouldn't have had a gun. Yes, he was selling CDs illegally. Yes, he resisted arrest. Know that some of these charges don't warrant murder. I think that's beautiful, and I think that's really true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough, man. I don't love cops personally, but I understand that they're doing their jobs and it's tough. But we need better training or something, you know. I don't. The same way. Let's bring this back to the immigration talk. Like there are bad cops and there are good cops, and we can't just throw all cops under the bus. The same way we should, you know, shouldn't throw all immigrants under the bus because one or two of them
Well, I
may be
think the bad
criminals.
cops.
Raped a little girl.
I think the bad cops need to help police themselves a little bit. And yeah, it does sometimes suck to be that that cop. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's like that rant that that radio DJ had. Was it Rosenberg? Where he was
I
just
didn't
saying
catch
like
it.
you guys he had a cop on that he was interviewing, and he just said to the cop like, can you admit that it just looks bad? Just admit that it looks bad. And the cop was kind of beating around the bush saying, oh well, I can't. He's like, see, this is the problem. This is the problem. Like, in law enforcement, you guys don't want to call each other out on their bullshit. Like if I hear another radio DJ say something irresponsible, I have no problem saying that DJ is a bad DJ. But with you guys, there's always this like this little dance that you guys play, and like no one wants to solve the issue, so you guys all get kind of thrown in to the barrel. And I mean, it is kind of what happens.
It's So it's like, do we just need less cops? I mean, is that the answer? Just less cops.
Well, I don't think
I don't
that's
think
like
that's the answer.
a
No.
realistic answer either.
Because if we have so many cops, then the chances of one cop being a bad apple increases. And I mean, when have you needed? I'll ask the both of you. When have you needed a police officer to help you out with something in the last 10 years? To help you out, to assist your life.
I mean, okay, I got my car broken into, but they didn't really do anything to help. Like
They didn't do anything.
they came and took it, and then was like, call this. And then when I got assaulted, they didn't do shit either. They just kind of was like,
Right.
he's not gonna sue, so they didn't.
So when we need them to serve and protect us, they don't really fucking do it because the criminal's already gone. They're gone with our shit, and there's nothing they can do. But when we do come across them, they're pulling us over for a stupid traffic violation or giving us a parking ticket, or we're chewing gum while walking on a sidewalk or some stupid shit. And then that's what infuriates these citizens. And it's like, no, you're not gonna. I'm selling CDs. No, you're not gonna just pull me off of here. No, like I got kids to feed, and these CDs are helping me out. Like, or I'm selling loose cigarettes. Like, what the fuck,
No, agreed. You agreed 100% with what you just said. Okay, that's.
And we're gonna have Sean on tomorrow, and I'm sure he's gonna have a little more to say. So we'll savor the flavor a little bit. But goddamn, I mean, the more that I'm just thinking about this stuff now, it's like, when do we need cops for bad people that are like shooting up gay nightclubs, or when you really do need them and someone's breaking in your house, they show up like 3 hours later. We don't need the cops. We don't need the IRS. We probably don't need Homeland Security because that's $55 billion going down the fucking drain anyways. They ain't. There's a long list of shit that we don't need. The CIA, what the hell? What do they do? I mean, fucking.
Well, I mean, don't they gather intelligence on other people?
They gather intelligence on American citizens.
Well, that and foreign nationals and.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weren't they the ones that sent us into war in Iraq?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was Cheney, I guess.
That was off the CIA report, right?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Depending on how far you want to go with the false flags, and I read a lot of shit out there that I don't necessarily agree with, but it's kind of like, it's a possibility. It's always a possibility.
Some of this sounds a little too close. No, okay.
Yeah, it's like, well, maybe not.
Yeah, well.
So,
Good.
Ender,
Yes.
Let's get a general view of how you think this presidential election is going.
Oh man.
And are you backing Hillary at this point?
Backing her? No. I think I might give in and vote for her. I don't to say that I'm backing her is too strong of an endorsement. I do have a little rant about this though. There's
Step
not a
on up.
there's not a single person on my I have like, a couple of thousand friends on Facebook just that I've met all over, and I don't know anyone that supports Hillary or Trump.
Does Amanda?
And I don't know.
We don't have to go into that. I just thought it was funny.
I don't even know if we're still Facebook friends. But here's the thing.
We'll tell that story another day. We'll tell that story another day.
The president is just a hood ornament, right? Like,
yeah.
There are other elected officials that are making laws and doing work that affect our everyday lives much more. And half the people on my Facebook feed don't have a clue who's running for what office other than Trump and Hillary. And I think that's a damn shame. So I think if you really care, if you're so disenchanted with Trump or Hillary or both, go find out who's running for mayor. Go find out who's running for fucking school board. That's going to affect you. That's going to affect your kids. That's going to affect your future. Not like Hillary and Trump, whatever. They'll be gone in 4 years, and the next person will come in and fix their mistakes or whatever. But the reality is, like, your Congress people, your school board members, those are the people you should really study and care about.
Yes, all politics is local. Care locally before you care nationally. But also care nationally as well.
Yeah, you should care some. You should be informed, but I wouldn't. It shouldn't be the end all be all.
Yeah, there's a Super Tuesday going on somewhere in the world every Tuesday. So.
Well, I hate to cut in to your guys' mental sexual intercourse.
Whoa.
Hey.
Breaking news. There's a shooting in Dallas right now.
Of who?
Fuck.
Full body armor. Cop's been shot. Somebody else. I'm looking for... I mean, we don't have enough time to dive all the way into it, but let me just read. And Kenny, I know you have to go soon.
Yeah. So
let me just read this piece. We'll get your first take on it, and me and Ender will take it from here. This is a developing story, and we'll update throughout the evening. After Alton Sterling shooting death this week, Baton Rouge was captured to camera, blah, blah, blah. The men who were both black were killed by officers, blah, blah, blah. Hundreds turned out the evening rally Thursday at Bellow Gardens. The crowd then planned to march in the Main Street Gardens. It's important, quotations, it's important to allow people to grieve first and foremost, said Reverend Dr. Jeff Hood. Still looking for the details. I need words.
Damn technology.
Well, it's that too new. There's no words yet. Yeah, it's ongoing right now. There was a rally. There was a rally in Texas, and people were shot. And looks like Black Lives Matter. We're doing it. We're up to it again. I hate to fucking say it.
We'll have to see.
And a part of me, I mean, I kind of understand the frustration and the anger, but maybe choose a different title for your cause. If you any weekend of the year that you want to point to Chicago, or you want to point to a lot of other places where black people are murdering other black people, and
it's not. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, they do matter, and they matter to me. You know.
Right. But the purpose of that phrase isn't like aimed towards the general public. I mean, it is aimed at the general public, but it's to authority figures. It's not to.
But it's in
It's not
the
just
title. I mean, I think
right, but it's
black
not.
people kill more black people than anyone else.
I mean,
I like
that's
what Obama said about it. It was either today or yesterday, but he said, I'm going to read it. When people say Black Lives Matter, it doesn't mean that blue lives don't matter. Lives matter, but right now the big concern is the fact that the data shows black folks are more vulnerable to these kinds of incidents. This isn't a matter of us comparing the value of lives.
And that's
so
true.
I think Black Lives Matter isn't saying, only Black Lives Matter. It's not saying Black Lives matters more. It's calling attention to the atrocities that's happening to the black community, where racism isn't just personal, it's systemic.
what is exactly the definition of racism? Like a systemic.
Okay, well, I mean, it's bad timing on my point or on my part to talk about that, especially if more people are dying because of this crap. And I understand the concept of it is about the police killing black people, which happens at a more frequent rate than it does for white people. But white people get killed more often than black people do. It just it goes unreported.
I don't. I that was a lot in that statement. I don't. It goes unreported. Like white people.
It goes. Yeah, the media.
Oh,
The
off
media
the
doesn't.
mainstream media. Gotcha.
The media doesn't really care about when white people die at the hands of cops. Which is, I mean, I don't condone any of it.
I don't condone any of it. There was a Fresno kid I think that just got killed. Mexican or Latin kid.
Or Mexicans, yeah. You never hear about those ones, but and still, it's bad. A lot of the time, it could have been avoided, unless someone's running at you with a gun. There's no reason a cop should shoot down another man.
Yeah.
I would love to. I'm gonna try and fish out a couple cops to try and get them to come on and see. Maybe they have a better arguing point that we are not considering.
Yeah, that'd be a dope conversation. But I gotta get going, guys.
All right, say bye to the people.
See you later, guys. Before I do, I want to get a shout out though to my uncle Albert who passed away. We buried him this past Saturday. So shout out to him. And to all the people out there fighting the struggle. Keep it going.
Uncle Albert, man, we love you. You are in our thoughts and our hearts and our prayers.
Thank you, guys. All right.
All right, Kenny, go get him.
Good meeting you.
Later. Nice meeting you as well.
See you later, man.
Ender. Now it's just an intimate conversation between me and you. Well,
down.
I think it's been kind of a Debbie Downer. Let's shoot on to some funner. Is that a word? Am I able to use that?
Funner? You talk about sports on your podcast at all?
We do. Well, yeah, I mean, Kenny
I really want to talk about the NBA right now, or even UFC.
Okay, let's
in the sports world.
Let's give a little time to the NBA. I might have to save the UFC stuff because I might be doing a full UFC podcast tomorrow.
Okay.
So I got to save that.
I'm not UFC fan. I just am vaguely aware of what's going on because I'm a big pro wrestling fan. And
okay, well,
is on the card this Saturday, so
that's
all I know about it.
That doesn't warrant my years of expertise in the area. But we can talk some NBA, and I want to go off on what the hell's going on in North Korea right now, and then we're gonna wrap it up here soon. There's a UFC event going on right now, actually, that I want to get to, but I want to close out this podcast in the right fashion. And goddamn, another fucking shooting. This is it's gonna be a go. I think this is gonna be a topic for tomorrow. So, anyways, the NBA. I can already sense what you're gonna say, but we can start with LeBron
There's
James.
so much to talk.
We can talk about Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors. We can talk about Derrick Rose leaving the Bulls, and then Dwayne Wade going. I mean, where the hell do we start?
There's so much going on.
What interests you the most? Is it that LeBron James is actually as good as we all hoped he was, or are you not thinking that?
I would argue yes. His performance in the finals, coming back from down 1-3, and I'm a big Lakers homer, right? Like, it's magic or bust, but I really think LeBron has off into the conversation of with Magic and Michael, players of all time. And that's
totally
coming from
agree.
a Laker fan who wants to defend and say, "Oh, Kobe's up there." No, Kobe's not. Like, LeBron has been.
Well, I think Kobe did more with less. In that way, he's comparable to LeBron. And
did he really do more with less, though? I mean,
with the power,
he had Shaq with 3 of the championships.
Okay, minus those 3.
And the first championship with just him and Powell, they beat the freaking Orlando Magic, who sucked. Whose best player was Dwight Howard.
Yeah, he's been proven to be a bust as far as like his potential.
He's terrible.
And he just signed like $50 million or something for 2 or 3. I don't know. But I saw the contract and I was like, no, no.
Salary cap went up, and so everyone's getting bloated contracts.
Yeah, there's people.
The salary
2-year $20 million, 2-year $30 million. It's like, where the hell is all this? I hear that Ice Cube just got signed to the Lakers for like 2 years, a $75 million contract. He almost hit a triple-double.
That's a great
Totally,
investment.
right? No, these numbers are just astronomically crazy. But what do you think about Kevin Durant going to Golden State? I mean, are they a lock for next year?
I don't think anyone's ever a lock, but they're certainly the favorite.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting. And the Bulls starting 5. You think that Derrick Rose leaving would cripple them?
I hate Derrick Rose. They got better without Derrick Rose. It just kept getting better.
Man, Derrick Rose is softer than a chocolate-covered marshmallow.
Yeah, they got better when they traded him. They got better when they added. They got better when they added Rondo. They've just gotten better this offseason.
Right. So the Bulls starting 5, and I'm trying to find it. It's pretty all right. So here we go. We got Rajon Rondo, Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, Taj Gibson, and Robin Lopez. Boom. I mean, that's better than Cleveland's starting 5. Rajon Rondo.
No.
Yeah, maybe not. It's second in the Eastern Conference.
Dude, and he's a head case in the locker room.
I think that Rondo hasn't found his home yet. He found his home in Boston. He hasn't felt that same camaraderie wherever he's went. He also is a head case.
He couldn't get along with Doc freaking Rivers.
I know. And I used to think that he needed a black coach.
But
Wait, no.
Doc Rivers.
But they got along for a while. Yeah, he might be just a head case.
Chicago will be fun to watch, but they're not better than Cleveland. Wade won't stay healthy. Wade still can't.
Right.
The best player, but that's about it. They'll be fun to watch for a little bit. Robin Lopez is overrated.
And the Lakers will be rebuilding until 2020. But in 2020, they'll be gonna be back. Damn it!
And we're gonna make a run for Ben Simmons. Have you seen Ben Simmons play? That kid's so good.
No, I have not. And thank you to stay out of my personal affairs.
He's something. He's going to be special for sure. I like what the Lakers have quietly done. You know, a lot of Laker fans have not been approving of the Lakers' offseason moves in regards to free agency, but I really like what they've done.
Well, yeah, but it's not going to get them out of the West. What they need to do is relocate Los Angeles into like Atlanta, Georgia, somewhere, or in outskirts, or somewhere in the South, or somewhere in the East Coast, where the Lakers will have a chance to make the playoffs. Because right now they don't.
Oh, of course, I would be ecstatic with 30 wins next year. But they're thinking long term. The kids need like 2 or 3 more years to develop, maybe 4, and
you would not be ecstatic with 30 wins next year. That's not.
I would be. Okay, maybe not ecstatic, but that's about the ceiling I've set for them. I don't expect more than 30 wins. I'd be ecstatic with 40.
Well, let's bring us to. I'm glad we got that NBA talk. We can resume it. There's always going to be some great off-season stuff to talk about. What the hell is going on in North Korea right now?
I never know what's going on in North Korea.
Well, that's what I'm here for, Ender.
You can tell me what's going on in North Korea.
Okay, I'm about to. Do you want me to tell you?
Please do.
All right. North Korea warned on Thursday it is planning its toughest response to what it deemed a declaration of war, in quotations, by the United States after Washington blacklisted the nuclear-armed country's leader, Kim Jong-un, for human rights abuses. Pyongyang described the sanctioning of Kim as a hideous crime, according to North Korea's official KCNA news agency. This is the worst hostility and an open declaration of war against North Korea as it has gone far beyond the confrontations over the human rights issue. Right. So this is worse than North Korea's human rights issues. Fucking give me a break. In response, the U.S. government urged Pyongyang to refrain from statements and actions that raise tensions in the region. The United States imposed its first sanctions targeting any North Koreans for rights abuse on Wednesday, blacklisting Kim along with 10 other people in 5 government ministries and departments. The actions affect assets within the U.S. jurisdiction. The UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, a former South Korean foreign minister, hopes China will urge its ally North Korea to cooperate internationally on human rights. His spokesman, Stephanie, said on Thursday in New York, China's foreign ministry, when asked about the U.S. decision, said it opposed the use of unilateral sanctions. China argues that the human rights situation in North Korea is not a threat to international peace and security and has sought to prevent the issue being discussed at the UN Security Council. It goes on. It's so basically the U.S. condemned Homie, and North Korea sees it as an act of war. So that's what the hell is going on. It's not as sexy as some of our other week-to-week updates on North Korea, but it's nonetheless still highlights the insanity.
North Korea is crazy, and while I'm a proponent for war, I would rather go to war for human rights issues than oil.
Boom!
Just saying.
That is fucking sound drop right there.
It's a much more worthwhile cause.
I mean, if there was any reason to go to war, it would be to help North Korea, Syria, or some of the fucking tyrannical warlords in Africa. I mean,
That's right. But we don't because they don't have oil.
well, they do, but the Congo is a motherfucker to navigate, so maybe that's why we don't do it, right?
That's right.
Oh Lord! So, all right, before we close it out, how epic was that trip to the Dominican Republic? We don't need to bring up what's her name, but just as a trip as a whole, wasn't that shit awesome? That's where we got to know each other.
That is where we got to know each other over many drinks.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Breeze, as I recall.
Oh, the pool. What about the pool water? You forget
Pool
about
water. That's right.
that? Dude, we need to have Jessica come in here and just go, what was she doing? Punta Cana! She never, she only gets like that when she's super excited. And it's only been a handful of times since then.
I remember being plastered in the pool and almost drowning.
Oh my God, I have that footage. I still have it.
That's not one of my finer moments.
I thought you did great. You really, I think you were in love with that bartender. That's why you stayed there so long. And you tried to show her, like, look, I could drink this. And you kept talking about her.
She had a boyfriend.
Yeah, and then
she was gorgeous.
And then Brandon was trying to play tricks on you, like hiding your sunglasses from you. That's cruel. You don't do that to somebody that's, you're basically handicapped.
I was more than handicapped.
Right.
I was not doing well.
No. Well, you did well for a little bit. I got some underwater footage of you. We'll put it up on Mercury's cast. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, what a great trip though. You went into town with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember tasting.
Yeah, that's good times. I remember I just had to tag along with you and Jessica because my +1 was lame and didn't want to do shit.
So lame.
She was busy flirting with the
black gentleman.
The black gentleman, I don't remember his name.
God, he had such a sexy name too.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
Well, we got to cut this off now. But,
all right, man.
I really enjoyed having you on, Ender, and
yeah, thanks for having me.
Do it again. Hold on, but what we do at the end of the show is you got to give a shout out to somebody who you admire. Could be a family, could be a loved one, could be a lost one, could be fictional, could be whatever. Who's your shout out?
Oh shit, that's putting me on the spot. I'm gonna give a shout out to Simon Hudis. He was the campaign manager that I worked under for just being a buddy throughout the campaign, and he just really taught me a lot and coached me along. I had no experience in politics going into the job, so he really made my life a lot easier. So shout out to Simon.
Simon, shout out to my dad for his 70th birthday that we just celebrated yesterday at his favorite Italian restaurant, Franco's in Cyprus. And on that note, we got to say, step your game up. That's what we do at the end. We want to tell people step their game up.
Step your game up.
Step your fucking game up, people. Step your mercurial game up. And on that note, we will see you next time.